Hi, I'm Bryce Rampton, Seed Agronomist for Syngenta here in Western Canada. I'm out here standing in a strip of S005-C9X, one of the brand new varieties we have for the NK portfolio here in 2021. So C9X is a 005 relative maturity 2350 CHU variety. So if you've been familiar with 007Y4s, this is a very similar maturing product, which we've seen in a lot of cases so far this fall. I think the first thing that you notice when you walk into a field of C9X is just the heavy pod initiation towards the top of the plant. So especially now that plants are dropping their leaves, you just see a real heavy layer of pods towards the top of the plant, driven by this, top pod cluster within it here. So especially where we've seen, better growing conditions this year, more rainfall, really high yield environments, we're setting a really significant top cluster here. And doing pod counts and yield estimates, this is going to set a very high yield potential so far if we maintain seed size. I think if you have been growing a product like 007Y4s, so far earlier on this year, I thought that C9X was very similar in plant architecture, so very similar in early vigor, very similar as far as canopy closure, overall plant height, and canopy width. So I think especially if you've been growing soybeans on 22-inch rows or less, you can expect very similar behavior, very similar canopy closure to what we've seen with 007Y4 in the past as well. I think the biggest standout for me with C9X is its overall tolerance to Phytophthora root rot. So especially this spring, where we had cooler conditions, really saturated soils for a long period of time, and even after a couple drier years with 18 and 19, we did see some higher levels of Phytophthora root rot pressure in some areas of Manitoba especially. And where we did see that within our plots, C9X was a real standout for me. So while it is just RPS1C major gene resistance, it has a really strong field tolerance to Phytophthora. So in those cases, we really haven't seen any appreciable level of Phytophthora root rot infection that would be of concern at all. So I'm very confident in its Phytophthora root rot rating, especially if you've been growing some other products with strong resistance in the past and relying on that. I think you can expect similar things with C9X in 2021. So I think for me, to sum it all up, 005-C9X, if you're really comfortable with that kind of 007Y4 maturity, so that 005-CRM maturity, you're looking for a high yielding extend and you're kind of concerned about Phytophthora root rot, I think C9X would be an excellent fit for your farm in 2021.